club or at the grocery store, just out someplace, and you saw someone really tasty looking and you thought, ooh, I want a scoop of that? Or have you ever been at a job interview and felt uncertain if you would impress the interviewer enough to land the job? Of course you have. We all have. And in those situations, did you ever have conversations inside your mind? Conversations like, oh, who am I kidding? Someone that fine's not going to go for me. Or, man, I hope I don't end up looking like a dork in front of this interviewer. And in those kinds of situations, did you ever end up walking away from that sexy-looking stranger without even seeing if he or she would go for you? Or assume that you won't get that job before the interviewer has even asked one question? Of course you have. Again, we all have. And because these things that you've experienced and that you've assumed would not work out, you've created an ongoing dialogue that works against you. Now, in the movie Gladiator, there's a character called Maximus, played by Russell Crowe. And in one scene, he says to his troops, what we do in life echoes in eternity. Now, at first, I just thought that was a cool line. But as I really thought about the words, it struck me as an excellent way of saying what goes inside our own minds sometimes. The results we've had in the past surface inside our minds when a similar experience occurs. When you have an experience, be it a favorable one or an unfavorable one, you will see the memory of that experience inside your mind, especially when you encounter something else that's just like it. You then carry on a dialogue inside your mind about it. Something along the lines of, oh, well, it worked out last time, so this will probably work. Or, oh, man, it didn't work out last time, so this time I don't think it'll work out. It probably won't. And then because of that inner dialogue, you might start to imagine what result this new encounter will be. Before it's even come to be, you've already imagined the negative result. And based on what you see and hear, it strongly influences the level of power and enthusiasm and confidence you have in that moment. So what you do in life, the experiences you have, echoes inside your mind, the replay of how the experience last went. And unless you change that, it will echo in eternity. For example, let's say you're at work one day and the boss got really angry at you. Well, then the next day, upon seeing the boss again, you have an emotional and or physical reaction, whether it be nervousness or tension or anger, you're scared, jumpy, etc. This reaction is a direct result of your mind playing back the last encounter inside your mind. The same is true when you go out looking for someone sexy to get romantic with. You go out to a local bar or club or mall or Center for Disease Control, whatever. And as you spoke to that sexy potential person, they said something you felt was insulting or rejecting or maybe even mean. As a result, the next time you're in that same kind of encounter, you think about this last time and it influenced why you either chickened out of talking to that person or why you were so defensive towards them, and so on. The point that I'm making is that we have this need to judge our current chances of success based on past results. And don't panic, but there's no cure for it that I know of at this time. However, there is an alternate and deliberate way to have control over what you focus on when you're doing it. First, realize that that hot-looking person or that person interviewing you has no knowledge of what happened the last time you were in this kind of situation. So as far as they know, you could be someone who is used to having attractive people respond well to you, or you could be someone that a company would be glad they hired. The simple fact is, the moments you first approach someone or a situation, the only person who knows how badly things went last time is you. That hot-looking person doesn't know how your past encounters went. That employer doesn't know how your past interviews went. So nothing stops you from approaching that person or going into that situation and assuming things will go better this time. Just as they don't know what your past results have been, so too do you not know what this result will be. What if you looked at those past results an alternate way? What if you thought about those past results and thought, eventually it has to work out. So what if it's this time? What if, as you thought about what happened last time, you were to ask yourself the question, okay, where could I have done better? And how can I use that to make things work out better this time? I would suggest you practice these what ifs in advance. What I mean is, when you're at home or, walk yourself through these past bad results. Think about what might have worked better. By doing these things in the comfort of your own home, you have removed the anxiety that exists when you're actually in the situation. As with anything, the more you practice it, the better you get at it, and the better your results will become. The mind voice of an alpha is, let's see how much better result I can get this time. The mind voice of an alpha is, yeah, it didn't work out last time, but I'm going to try something different this time. We all have images in our mind of what happened last time. But the alpha views it as, how can I do better this time? Instead of, crap, I bet I screwed this up. Now, there's an exercise in my book called Unleashing the Phoenix. The exercise is called Selective Reality. If you have a copy of that book, I suggest going through that exercise now. Use that exercise and apply it to what's happened when you get in these images in your mind, when you get into these situations. Trust yourself. The more you train your mind, your voice, to focus on solutions instead of dwelling on the less than great results of the past, the more you're going to find yourself getting better and better outcomes. As a former mentor and friend of mine once said, the past isn't who you are. The past isn't what you deserve. The past is just what's happened. Thank you for listening, my friend. Be well and live unleashed.